Why does everyone keep interrupting me? If that sentence has gone through your head multiple times this week, particularly while you're trying to finish a note, you're exactly in the right place. You sit down to start charting, and the MA pops in and says, "Hey, I have something to tell you about the next patient." So then you start again, and your phone rings. Next thing you know, you're back at it, and a colleague says, "Hey, I've got a quick question for you." And you know it's never really quick. So by the time you actually get your note finished, it's at 7 o'clock at night. You've already put your kids to bed, and you're wondering why the heck you went into medicine in the first place. So a client told me something this past week, and I found it fascinating, and I've been thinking about it all week. She told me, and I want you to imagine her whispering like she was confessing a crime. She said that she closed her door to finish some work. She closed her door. And she felt so guilty about it. And friends, that is exactly what we are going to be talking about today. Because there is a reason that you're not getting your work done at work. And it's not because you're slow. And it's not because you have too many patients. It's because nobody ever told you that you actually have permission to close the darn door. So today, in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to give you the permission slip that nobody gave you during your medical training, during your residency. And here it is. Permission to close the door at work and permission to close the door at home. And I'm going to share with you the exact words that you can use so you can actually do it this week. So let's get into it. Welcome back to StressRx. I'm Dr. Michelle Chestovich. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so here's the pattern and see if it sounds familiar. In your head, the math has always been the door is open and so I'm available. And being available equals being a good doctor. Being a good doctor means being a good team player. So you never, ever close the door. It stays open. In fact, it's practically welded open at this point. So what happens? The MA comes in to ask you about a refill. You answer her question. Then you sit back down. And then a nurse pops in with another question about some forms that need to be filled out. You sit back down. The phone rings. You don't answer it. But lo and behold, a colleague comes in wanting to know a quick question, which you of course know is never very quick. And by the time you finally get back to it, you're now on the fourth attempt at finishing your note. And you're not even halfway through. So let me ask you something. When was the last time that you had 20 uninterrupted minutes at work? Not 2 minutes, not 5 minutes between knocks, but 20 actual minutes when nobody was talking to you, nobody was asking something of you, nobody was texting you, nobody was Teams messaging you, and your brain actually got to do one thing at a time. For most of us, the answer is probably, I don't remember. So here's actually what's going on. And I want you to hear me out on this because this is the piece that nobody names. It's not actually about the door. It's about what you're making the door mean. In your head, a closed door means I'm unapproachable. I might make somebody mad. The MA may think that I'm too good for everybody else, that I'm not pulling my weight is perhaps something we're worried that someone might think. God forbid a patient walk by and say like, "Oh, she taking a break back there," especially if we're running behind. Oh my goodness, somebody somewhere may be mildly inconvenienced. And to your people-pleasing, trained to be available at all times, this is unacceptable. So watch what your brain does. Your brain takes real, daily, soul-crushing discomfort about your work not getting done, about bringing charts home, logging back in at 9 o'clock at night, never seeing your kids, and it weighs it against someone else's possible mild annoyance for 15 minutes. And your brain picks your discomfort. How often is that true? I love telling people this. Every single time. It's wild when you say it out loud because you are choosing to drown so somebody else doesn't have to wait for 15 minutes to ask you a non-urgent question. That is the trade that you are making every single day. I've made it too. And nobody told us that we were making it. We were just trying to make everybody happy and be a team player. So here's the reframe. And I want you to think about good old Netter for a second. Yes, good old Netter from medical school. The big anatomy book. Remember the heart, the coronary arteries. The heart pumps blood to itself before it feeds the rest of the body. This is not selfish. This is not some character flaw. This is literally what the heart has to do in order to do its job. Doesn't feed itself first. It's an MI. The whole body shuts down. You, my friend, are the heart. For 20 minutes, close your door and finish some notes. This is feeding yourself first. It is not selfish. It is not unprofessional. In fact, it is very professional to close your door and take some time to do your expert work. It is the thing that you need to do in order to keep doing the work, period. And here's the part that nobody tells you, and the part that I really want you to hear. When you actually do your work at work, you go home different. You are not carrying a stack of unfinished charts home. You're not thinking about all the work, and you're not snapping at your kids because you're calculating how late you're going to be up tonight finishing your darn charts. The door is closed for 20 minutes, and this is what allows you to be present with your kids at bedtime. The closed door is actually a gift to everybody. And yes, some people may be mildly inconvenienced. That is allowed. You can handle someone being mildly inconvenienced. You are a grown-ass physician, by the way, and they're a grown adult too. We teach people how to treat us. Maybe we can let them know when we're available. Okay, so what does this actually look like? Because I don't want you leaving here in just like the land of theory. This is not about hiding away for 3 hours. This is not about becoming a hermit, but it's about claiming a pocket of time, 20 minutes of time. That's it. And here's the script. You're going to say to your MA, hey, I'm going to be in my office and I'm going to close the door for the next 20 minutes. Please don't interrupt me. That's it. That is the entire script. Please hold non-urgent things until then. You don't have to explain. You don't need to soften it with 17 exclamation points. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying this Just say it like a person is allowed to do this. Because you are. Now, what if you don't have a door? I know that I was in an office with 5 other colleagues. Well, this is maybe what you could do. Maybe you put on some noise-canceling headphones. Maybe you go to a different room. Maybe you put up a little sign. Quiet, I'm working. Block 20 minutes and actually give it a try. It is so important. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And while we're here, I also just want to say that this counts for home too. If you have kiddos, this is totally applicable. Moms, you are allowed to close your bedroom door. And you're allowed to close the bathroom door. Although the kids may stick their fingers underneath. I remember those days. You are allowed to say, I'm going to go read for 20 minutes. Please don't come find me unless someone is bleeding uncontrollably. I know you feel really horrible and oh my God, I should be available at all time. I've been gone all week and I should be home when I'm home. But here's what I'll tell you. The guilt on this one is thicker than the work version because at work, at least you can tell yourself, hey, I'm closing the door for work. God forbid that you take a moment for yourself at home. The horror of it. Just for you. But here's the thing. Your kids don't need 100% access to you 100% of the time. And in fact, they actually benefit from seeing a mom who takes 20 minutes or more for herself and comes back regulated instead of a mom who's available every single second and is quietly losing her shit by 8 p.m. Especially for your daughters. You are showing them that mothers are people and that people can have 20 minutes. And again, I advise you to work up to more, but let's start with 20 minutes. This is normal. This is good. And this is how adults who are healthy live. So close the darn door at work and at home. Here's what I want you to do this week. Close the door once, just one time for 20 minutes. And here's the trick, and it's really important. Decide when you're going to do it before the day starts. Because if you wait for the moment, your brain will negotiate it out of you. Your brain will say, oh, today's too busy. Today's the wrong day. I think another day would be better. Here's what I'll tell you. Your brain is a liar in this particular department. So decide ahead of time that this is what you're going to do. And when you go to do it, your brain is also going to be a little bit dramatic. Oh my gosh, what are people going to think? They're going to think I'm a bitch. What if there's an emergency? The MA is going to hate me. You're so selfish. Your brain is just doing what it's always done. You don't have to argue with it. Just, here I am thinking those thoughts again. Thank you for sharing and close the door anyway. And then just notice what happens. Because what's probably going to happen is that you actually get some work done. Nobody dies and you go home feeling so much lighter. Or if you do this one at home, you go read for 20 minutes and you come back to your family and oh my God, no one's died and you're feeling more like a human and you're just much more available for them. You are allowed to do this. You certainly don't need anyone's permission, but if you're waiting for it, here it is. from me to you. Permission granted. Close the darn door. Until next week, my friends, peace and love to all of you.